So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining us today. I wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can remember this glorious day of Bhima or Pandava Nirjal Ekadasi. So, I'd like to thank you for joining. I hope everybody is fasting as best as they can. Don't fast to the extent where you're torturing your body or about to leave the body, but try to do your very best. Extend ourselves somewhat so that it's not just any ordinary day, it's a special day. So we'll first start with reading the Ekadasi Katha, and Jayanti will do that. Yeah.
Okay. So Nirjal Ekadashi ki jai. The description of Nirjal Ekadashi, which occurs during the month of May-June, is found in the Brahma Vairat Purana in the conversation between Vyasadeva and Bhimsen. Once Bhimsen, the younger brother of Yudhishthira, inquired from the great sage Srila Vyasadeva, "O most learned and worshipful grandfather, please hear my request. My elder brother Yudhishthira, mother Kunti Devi, brothers Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, and Draupadi do not eat anything on the day of Ekadashi. They, especially Yudhishthira, always tells me that I should also fast on Ekadashi. But I always tell them that though I know that to fast on Ekadashi is an injunction of the scriptures, I cannot bear my hunger, and therefore I am unable to fast. I can give in charity as per my capacity. I can worship Lord Keshav with proper rules and regulations, but I cannot fast. So please instruct me, how can I obtain the result of Ekadashi without having to fast?" On hearing these words of Bhimsen, Srila Vyasadeva said, "O Bhim, if you want to go to the heavenly planets and avoid the hellish planets, then you must refrain from eating on both the Ekadashis of each month." Bhim said, "O great sage, it is impossible for me to observe fast on 24 Ekadashis every year, as instructed by the Lord. What to speak of fasting day and night? I cannot even tolerate my hunger for even a moment. The fire of hunger, known as brika, is always present within my stomach, and it is extinguished only by voracious eating. But with great endeavor, I can fast only one day in a year. Therefore, please instruct me about a vow that I can follow to attain auspiciousness both in this life and the next." Srila Vyasadeva said, "O king, you have already heard from me about the Vedic religious principles and the duties of the human beings. But in this age of Kali, not everyone is capable of following those rules and regulations. Therefore, I will tell you about a sublime method by which you can achieve great results. This method is the essence of all the Puranas. Anyone who observes the Ekadashis of waning and waxing moons by fasting never goes to hell." Hearing Vyasadeva's words, the strongest warrior, Bhimsen, became frightened and shivered like a leaf on a banyan tree and said, "O grandfather, what should I do? I'm totally unable to fast twice a month throughout the year. Therefore, O my Lord, kindly instruct me about one vow that awards the most merit and how by observing it I can achieve all benefits." Then Srila Vyasa replied, "The Ekadashi which occurs during the waxing moon in the month of May-June, during the sun's presence in either Taurus or Gemini Rasi, is called Nirjal Ekadashi. One should observe total fast even by drinking water in this Ekadashi. On this day, one should perform achaman for purification by drinking that amount of water in which a single mustard seed or a drop of gold can be immersed. One should place the said amount of water in his palm held in such a way as to resemble a cow's ear. If one drinks more or less water than this, it will amount to drinking of wine. One must not eat anything at all on this Ekadashi, otherwise his vow will be broken. One should not drink even water from the moment of sunrise from the day of Ekadashi until the sunrise on the day of Dwadashi. In this way, if one strictly observes the Ekadashi without drinking water, then he can attain the results of observing all the Ekadashis of the year. In the early morning of the day of Dwadashi, one should take bath and give gold and water in charity to the Brahmins. Thereafter, the followers should gladly eat with the Brahmins. O Bhimsen, now please hear about the piety one accumulates by observing this Ekadashi. By following this Ekadashi, one can achieve the result of following all the Ekadashis throughout the year. Once Lord Vishnu, who holds a conch, a disc, a club, and a lotus flower in his hand, told me, if a person gives up all varieties of religion and surrenders unto me and follows this Nirjal Ekadashi, which is very dear to me, he is certainly relieved of all sinful reactions. One cannot attain the supreme destination by giving wealth in charity or attain any benefit by following smarta rules and regulations in the Kali Yuga. In fact, the Vedic religious principles have been extinct in this age of Kali, which is polluted with various faults. O son of Vayu, what more can I tell you? Eating is actually prohibited on all the Ekadashis, and even the drinking of water is prohibited on Nirjal Ekadashi. By observing this Ekadashi, one achieves the piety of visiting all the holy places. At the time of death, such a person is not approached by the fierce-looking Yamduts. Rather, he is approached by the divine-looking Vishnuduts to be transferred to the abode of Vishnu. If one gives water and cows in charity after observing this Ekadashi, then he is freed from all sinful activities. When the other Pandavas heard about the glories of this Ekadashi, they resolved to observe it. From that day onward, Bhimsen began observing this Nirjal Ekadashi, which became famous as Pandav Nirjal or Bhimsen Ekadashi. By fulfilling this Ekadashi, sinful activities as huge as Sumeru or Mandara mountain are at once burnt to ashes. O king, Lord Krishna has declared that any pious activities, such as taking bath in holy places, giving charity, chanting Vedic mantras, and performing sacrifices that are carried out on this Nirjal Ekadashi, they become inexhaustible. One who reads or hears the glories of this Ekadashi with devotion goes back to the abode of Vaikuntha. The result one attains by observing the vow of Amavas conjoined with Pratipad and observing oblations to the forefathers during the solar eclipse is attained simply by hearing the glories of this Ekadashi. So Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Any comments, any questions? This Ekadasi is regarded to be the topmost because if we have not by any chance we've broken one of the previous Ekadasis by mistake, eaten something which may have contained some grains, then this Ekadasi will nullify any of those mistakes. So it is said this Ekadasi one should perform very carefully. Nothing should go past the lips. And ideally, we should try to stay up all night with kirtan, bhajans, not watching movies. Bollywood is not a good idea. So today we will do satsang at 8 o'clock UK time until all night, hopefully. So if we survive all night. But it's a very wonderful day, actually. Bhima Ekadasi is always one of the most pleasurable Ekadashis to perform, knowing it, because Bhima himself, who was a ferocious eater, did it. So if he can do it, what's stopping us from doing it? And he couldn't tolerate not eating even for an hour or two because he was so strong. Yeah, he needed the food. The fire in his belly was so strong. Okay, so yesterday, any questions, any comments? Anybody like to say anything, ask anything?
It's the 8 o'clock. You said it's bhajan.
Gee.
Yeah, it's the same link. Yeah.
Same link.
24991. Yeah.
Gee, same.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Padmavat.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank you for
you.
joining. Very good. So we are
Yeah.
continuing. હવે આપણે જવાના છે ગંગા સ્નાન કરવા. So we are going to
English માં છે ને?
હા,
હા.
પણ
ના, તો મને
ગંગા
સમજ
સ્નાન
પડે છે, થોડી સમજ પડે છે મને.
ઓકે. ગંગા સ્નાન આપણે ભારતમાં કરશું, in India. So let's go and do that. because yesterday was Ganga Puja. So yesterday we couldn't do because we were in a temple in Bharat, in South Bharat. So let's do today. So this is a very beautiful mantra we can start with from the Garga Samhita. Kalindiya Gamana Varnana. Text number 22 of chapter 23, sorry.
Shri Yamuna Vacha He Gange Tvam Tu Dhanyasi Sarva Brahmanda Pavani Krishna Padavaj Sambhuta Sarva Loka Pandita. Shri Yamuna said, O Ganga, you are fortunate. You purify all the universes. You were born from Lord Krishna's lotus foot. Everyone bows down before you alone.
So both Yamuna and Ganga are very sacred rivers. And Yamuna is very fortunate actually because she flows in Vrindavan where Krishna bathed in her many, many times. He would jump into the Yamuna like he did when Kaliya was there poisoning. So Ganga always feels that Yamuna is very fortunate. But actually Yamuna is also saying, no, Ganga, you are very fortunate. This is the beauty of devotees of the Lord. When they meet each other, they will say very nice things about each other because it's true. That's why. So according to Ganga, Gagamuni, in Ganga Samhita, Yamuna and Ganga Devi are gopis engaged in Krishna Leela, and according to some spiritual commentators, are expansions of Vishakha Devi. So, okay, gopiche, they are also gopis. Krishna desired that both Yamuna and Ganga appear in the material world for the benefit of the fallen souls. There's also a river called Viraja that divides the material world from the spiritual world. This river is an expansion of the Viraj Gopi. This is the Viraj here. It is the division between the material worlds and the spiritual worlds. Beyond the river Viraj is the spiritual world, which is indestructible, eternal, inexhaustible, unlimited. It is the supreme abode, consisting of 3/4 of the Lord's opulences. So this earth and this material world is very tiny. If we just go back, this is the material world. But actually, this is just like a mustard seed. Very, very tiny. And there's millions of these mustard seeds, like these universes in this world. But all of this is very tiny. All of those universes put together are not even 1/4 of the whole creation. So the most vast majority of creation is outside of this material world. It's in the spiritual world. And we are thinking that we are the center of the universe, but actually, we are very insignificant. So how Ganga appears in our universe is described in many scriptures, such as the Bhagavatam. So Vamandev, the 5th avatar of the Lord, of the 10 avatars. In Treta Yuga, he approached Bali Maharaj while the king was performing a sacrifice. And he came as a Brahmin boy, some people say as a dwarf. And he said, and Vamandev, Bali Maharaj was very impressed with Vamandev. And he said to Vamandev, what would you like? I will give you any donation you want. And Vamandev simply asked for 3 steps of land. Bas, is that all? I can give you the whole universe. But Vamandev said, don't worry. It'll come to that at some point. He was thinking that. So anyway, he took 3 steps. For the first step, he covered the earth. Second step, he covered all the 3 planetary systems. And he also pierced a hole in the covering of the universe. And from that hole, with his left foot, from that hole came a few drops of water from the casual ocean. There you go. Vamandev, first step was Mother Earth. Second step, all the way all this universe, and he pierced a hole in the covering. And from that, Mother Ganga came. Yamuna came at the same time. The water flowed into this universe, came from both Yamuna and Ganga. That's per the Garga Samhita. And with Sri Ganga entering that opening, Yamuna, the best of rivers, then came to the unconquerable Lord's abode of Vaikuntha in the planet of Maharaj Dhruv. So they went to Dhruvlok. And from Dhruvlok, they went to the Saptarishis places, planets. And then they went to the heavenly planets. And then they went different directions. Yamuna, she went to the Kalinda mountain, therefore she's known as Kalindi. And then she came into the Kanda forest, into Vrindavan, and she became one of the principal wives of Krishna. And the Ganga, she remained in the heavenly planet. She didn't want to come to earth. She was worried, because how will earth tolerate my force? And sinful people will take bath in my water, and I don't want their sins. So eventually Ganga came, and she was asked to come. What happened was, in Treta Yuga, in Ishwaku dynasty, King Sagar, he had 60,000 children. King Sagar did a yagya, and there was a horse yagya, but the horse was stolen by Indra and was hidden near Kapil Muni's ashram in Patalok. So everybody started looking for the horse. The 60,000 sons were looking for the horse, and they found the horse near Kapil Muni. Kapil is one of the incarnations of the Lord. And they started accusing Kapil. And that was very offensive, because Kapil didn't do anything. So their bodies were burnt to ashes by the fire emanating from their own bodies. So all 60,000 died. And eventually many people, they would do tapasya, the ancestors of King Sagar and the sons, to purify, to save these 60,000 sons. So Kapil actually advised that Ganga should be petitioned to come on earth. And that's the only way that these 60,000 souls will be saved. So their nephew, Anshuman, he tried, he failed. His son, Anshuman's son, he also tried, Dilip, he failed. But his son, Bhagirath, he did amazing tapasya, and he succeeded. And he promised Ganga, don't worry, earth will not be affected by your coming to this place, because Lord Shiva will carry you on his head. And also don't worry about the sinful people, because there will be many saintly people who will also bathe in your water, purifying you from the sinful reactions. So Ganga Mata, she came, she fell onto earth, onto Lord Shiva's head, and he caught her very nicely. And later, Bhagirath came, and he started leading Ganga Mata to Patalok. But he went through from on a very nice journey, which we are going to now also undertake. Once Ganga Mata came to earth on her way to Bhagirath and the nether regions, her rushing waters created turbulence and destroyed the fields. And the Satnava sage called Janu. So this is something different. There was a sage later on, when Ganga is coming, he actually drank all of her up. He was such a powerful sage. So that we won't talk about today. That's another celebration. So that's why she's also known as Jahnavi, because of that sage called Janu. Okay, let's go. So this is now the Ganga. We're going to take snan. I hope everybody's got your towels and your gamchas. so that we can bathe. Sorry? Ladies don't wear gamchas. So you'll have to just go in your full dress into the waters. So where does Ganga come? The source of the Ganga is Himalayas, very close to the Himalayas. Gangotri is actually the source. But there are 4 different attributaries which eventually merge into the Ganga.
3.
Oh, 3.
The Yamuna.
Oh, that's the Yamuna. Yeah, thank you. There's the Bhagirathi,
Bhagirathi,
Mandakini, and the
Alkananda.
Alakananda. So all 3 of them will merge at Devprayag to become Ganga.
Ganga.
But actually, when you go to Gangotri, you will meet Ganga because that's really her source. So let's go to Gangotri. Let's go to Gomukh. Gomukh is even beyond Gangotri. Has anybody been to Gangotri and Gomukh here? Has anybody been? No. Okay. So today, let's go there. So what do? You go from Delhi. Where's Delhi? Delhi is somewhere here somewhere. Go to Haridwar. And from Haridwar, you can take Hare Krishna.
I had been there, Sitaram here.
Sitaram. Yes. How did you go, Sitaram? How did you go?
I was with Maitreya and I think as a friends. I have forgot that what the very, very old days, some maybe some 15 or 20 years back.
Right.
And
Anyway.
I think Guru Maharaj also has come, whatever is it?
Yeah,
Like,
Uddhav took him.
Yeah.
Badrinath, Kedarnath.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So we go to Haridwar, and then from Haridwar, we can take a bus or a taxi, and it's about a 15-20 hour journey all the way to Gangotri. And from Gangotri, we can go to Gomukh. Gomukh is another
18 kilometers
further. So for the first 12 kilometers or so, you can take a horse, ride on a horse. Tanuben, something you want to say? No. So, and then the rest of the journey is by foot, 6 kilometers.
3.
Is it 3? 3 kilometers. In Gomukh, sorry, on the way to Gomukh, you can stay at one place overnight. It's a very nice place, Boj Bas. I recommend it. It's a 5-star hotel. Not really, but it's a really fascinating place. One of my dreams is to go back there. So from Boj Bas to Gomukh, 3 kilometer walk. It's very, the air is very thin. Oxygen, you need extra oxygen to breathe. And it's a rocky journey, but it's a very nice journey. When you get there, you can see from a distance the glacier. And these are, of course, very cold. There's even, you can go further than Gomukh to Tapovan. And it is said that in Tapovan, there are many great sages who do amazing tapasya there. We weren't brave enough to take that journey, to do that journey as well. It's another quite a few kilometers. So here, Gomukh is the beginning. Now this glacier is a lot further away because of global warming. But you can see from a distance. So here one can take their bath. It's very, very cold. It's very, very cold here. So it's a very quick dip in and out. So we can do that. First, we can chant the purificatory prayers. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarva Vasangato Piva Yasmare Pundari Kaksham Savyavantara Suchi Jal Vishnu, Jal Vishnu, Jal Vishnu. And we can take a dip 3 times, Ganga Mai ki
Jai.
jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. So when we first go to the Ganga, you do that mantra, Om Apavitra, what we did, and you take some Ganga Jal in your mouth, in your hand, sorry. Today we won't drink it, we'll just put it on our head. So you can just put it on your head. And then you can go inside. Always first we must honor Ganga Mata. And we offer Ganga back to her. And we pray for her. Please pray to her. Please purify us. And let us become close to Lord Krishna. So that's Gomukh. Very beautiful. Next we come to Gangotri, which is where we started from. And Gangotri is a fascinating place. The Ganga flows very fast. There's the Himalayas, very close, very cold. Even in the summer, it's cold. And the Ganga flows very fast. You can hear the Ganga from a long distance away, very fast. And here they do Aarti, Ganga Aarti, every single day. So here they have railings so that we can hold on to the railings whilst we have a dip. If we don't hold on, it's very easy to fall into the Ganga, and then it's very hard to come out.
That is Ganga Mai ki jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai, as Guru Maharaj would say. So let's do the Ganga Snana here. Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. Okay. A very beautiful place. There are many sages who live here. They do tapasya, and you can meet them, visit them. Very nice, auspicious place. And there's a very good waterfall here as well. And it's such a wonderful sound. It's great sound vibration. You can chant your japa very nicely here. Very soothing. And there's a temple, many temples, prominent temples are there. And there's a very good marketplace as well. Very good restaurants or bhojanlayas.
Yeah, I think these on the bank here are bhojanlayas.
I don't know there. Okay. So then we go to
Devrayag.
Devrayag. So where's Devrayag?
It's not listed.
Yeah, it's not
there,
listed. It's
but
about
just
it's in the
there.
middle.
Yeah,
It's in the
just
middle.
there where the arrow is pointing.
Yeah. It's Devrayag is often a place where you will stay overnight if you're going up from Haridwar to Gangotri, because it's on the way and it breaks the journey up, and it's a very nice place. And here you can see the rivers meeting. The rivers meeting. So this is Yamuna.
This is Alkananda.
Oh, Alkananda, yeah.
And the Mandakini.
And Mandakini.
No, sorry, Bhagirathi.
Or Bhagirathi. So that's where they meet. You can see the two different colors. Okay, you can read this. Yeah. Go on.
So traditionally, it is considered to be the place where the sage Dev Sharma led his ascetic life, giving birth to his present name, Devrayag. It is one of the 5 sacred confluences in the hills, and it is an important place of pilgrimage for devout Hindus. Devrayag means godly confluence in Sanskrit. As per Hindu scriptures, Devrayag is a sacred event of merging 2 visible heavenly rivers, which is the Alkananda and Bhagirathi, to form the holy Ganga. It is believed that a 3rd river, the mythical Saraswati River, is underground and meets these 2 rivers at the confluence. And Saraswati originates from the Manna village in Badrinath. Next page.
Oh, yeah.
So in Devrayag, the river comes from the feet of Sri Raghunathji in Raghunath temple. Also, according to mythology, the footprints of Lord Ram are purported to exist at Ramkund.
Of course, we don't believe this is mythology. We believe it's tradition. Okay. Good. So that's Devrayag. So we can bathe there as well. It's probably a little harder to bathe here because I don't think they have.
People
guts.
have gone down.
Oh, yeah, they have. You're right. Okay. Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. Okay, so next we are in Rishikesh. So Rishikesh is very close to Haridwar. So we come first to Rishikesh from Gangotri or Devrayag. This is Rishikesh, very beautiful place. And many sadhus live here with their ashrams, in their ashrams. And there's also the two bridges, Ram and Lakshman Jula.
Here the Ganga doesn't flow as fast. So you can see she's a bit more calmer here as well.
Easier to bathe here.
So we can bathe here.
Yeah. Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. So next stop is Haridwar, very famous. And I think many people here will have been to Haridwar. Is that true? Yeah, very good, very good. Beautiful place, magnificent place. And a very special place actually. So this is the Hariki Puri clock tower, very famous. And Haridwar is Hari is the Lord, and Haridwar is the gateway, gateway to the Lord, to the heaven, Vaikuntha. But here the Ganga does flow a little faster than Rishikesh. And again, there are railings here to protect us from getting lost in the Ganga. So we hold on to the railings, and we can dip. Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. So this is a very special place. Many people come here. They do Ganga Aarti every day, morning, evening. And thousands of people gather. Here, the Pandits or the Brahmins, they have their stalls. Many people come and do puja or Pindan, Shraddh ceremonies. Yeah.
And there's a temple here for Ganga Mata as well on the side.
And here also you can really feed many pilgrims because they have so many restaurants, bhojanalayas, and there you can buy like sabji puri for 10 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees probably. And literally there and then you can feed tens and hundreds of people, thousands of people.
Mitra Prabhu, would like to add something?
A special place.
Special place, yeah.
Yes.
Very special place.
Yes, Guru Maharaj always
When we go
recommend.
there, we feel very, very good.
Yeah.
Nice. Guru Maharaj loves this place very much.
Yeah. Yeah, he always recommended us to go.
Yes,
To
first to
Haridwar
go
first
to
before
Haridwar,
visiting any
then
other
come to Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah, been to Haridwar, but only had the privilege of the Ganga Aarti, but we didn't have much time. So this was in 1985, so I can't remember much. Would love to go again. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's a must actually if you do go to Bharat.
All right.
The next stop,
So the next stop is
Kanpur.
Kanpur. So we've added this stop here. This is the idea of what Kanpur looks like.
Again, lots of bathing ghats along the Ganga. So again, they're trying to clean up the Ganga around there. So Kanpur, also known as Kanpur, is a metropolitan city in the state of Uttar Pradesh in India. Founded in 1803, Kanpur became one of the most important commercial military stations of British India. Nestled on the banks of the Ganga, Kanpur stands as the major financial industrial center of North India, also 9th largest urban economy in India. Today, it's famous for its colonial architecture, gardens, parks, and fine quality leather products, which are exported mainly to the West. So there's not much religious significance in Kanpur.
I would even go as far as say, delete. But we can still bathe there because Ganga is there. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Okay, next, very holy place, Prayag, and also known as Triveni. This is wrong actually. It's not Varanasi. Let me change that. Okay. Let's find it. Yeah. So Triveni Sangam, very special place because here the Yamuna and Ganga meet, and you can tell this is the dark Yamuna, and this is the golden colored Ganga. So this is Krishna. This is like Balaram or Radharani.
And you got Saraswati, which is invisible, which is said to be underground at this place.
And many people would have again gone to Prayag. They have the Kumbh Mela there. They have Kumbh Mela also every 12 years in Haridwar, but also in Prayag is regarded to be one of the biggest. And here, many people take the boat into the middle of the Triveni, and they perform pindan, different ceremonies. They bathe there. So we can do the same. We can take a boat. It's not very
We have been
expensive.
there.
Yeah.
We have been there.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Fascinating place.
Yes.
And we can take a bathe in the middle. So when you went there, where did you bathe?
As a boat,
Yes.
bring us at a particular place. Yeah.
And it's very safe. They have a nice platform, isn't it? So we can bathe there.
Yeah.
Gangam. Yeah.
So we can do the Ganga first, then the Yamuna.
Oh yeah, good, good. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Devi Ki Jai, Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. So fascinating, very nice. So next stop is Varanasi, Varanasi. And this is, of course, one of the most fascinating places in the world. Lord Shiva's headquarters in this world. Vishwanath temple is here, where he's gloriously worshipped. And
there's 18 famous bathing ghats,
18 ghats
along the Ganga.
So you can bathe in every single ghat.
So you can take a boat and stop at each ghat and bathe there.
And again, many people will have visited here. Very amazing place, actually. So let's honor Gangaji. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Many devotees come here and bathe. And when many people come to Varanasi at the end of their life, and Lord Shiva very kindly speaks the name of Ram into their ears as they're dying. This is the beauty of Lord Shiva. So we've added another stop.
Patna.
Patna.
Which is in Bihar now.
In Bihar.
So again, this is one of the bathing ghats there. There are lots of ghats there again, Patna.
Okay.
So Patna is an ancient city that flows along the south bank of the Ganga in Bihar. In Patna, the river Ganga once flowed along the city, but is moved 5 to 6 kilometers away from the city in the past 30 years.
Shows how Ganga can shift its course, her course. Then we enter Navadvipa. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's land. And she flows past Mayapur and Navadvipa. This is the temple of Vedic planetarium, which is being built at this moment in time in Sridham Mayapur. And we can bathe here in the Ganga. Very beautiful, very vast. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai. This is a very nice place. It takes about 3 hours by car from Calcutta to Mayapura is going north in Bengal, and definitely worth a visit, at least once in our lives, to see the glorious place of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Again, Chaitanya bathed in the river. So again, that's why Yamuna Devi is saying, you've had more mercy than me, because Chaitanya bathed in your river.
This is the final stop before Ganga goes to the nether regions in Patalok. So this is the Bay of Bengal, and
Ganga Sagar.
Ganga Sagar, yeah. So again, people bathe here. I've never been there, but I think Kamakshi has been there. She said one time. Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai. So this is where she then leaves. She enters into the nether regions. Her parents on earth, Himavan, personification of Himalaya mountains, Menavati, daughter of Mount Meru. She's also the adopted daughter of Rishi Janu, who swallowed her and then released her. That's why she's known as Jahnavi. Dharampatni is Shantanu.
Of Shantanu.
Yeah, of Shantanu, sorry. And according to the Shiva, of Lord Shiva as well. Mother of Devrat, and that's Bhishma, and also Kartikeya, which is interesting. Sister of Viraja and Yamuna Devi. And appearing in the Himalayas, Ganga is considered the sister of Parvati as well, who is a daughter of the Himalayas. So comparison with Yamuna, Padma Puran states Ganga water, when purified 1,000 times, becomes Yamuna, especially as Krishna has so many pastimes with Yamuna, right from the beginning of his pastimes on earth. But due to Ganga Devi's association with Mahaprabhu, who used to bathe in the Ganga, she is not less than Yamuna Devi. Thus, Ganga and Yamuna are to be considered like spiritual sisters, as is Viraj, and most dear to Gauranga and Lord Krishna. In Vraj, Krishna once manifested Ganga at Govardhan. That lake being known as Manasi Ganga. And on this side, on this lake, Krishna performed many wonderful boating pastimes with Radha and the gopis. This is one of the most famous, where the gopis wanted to cross over in the Manasi Ganga, and Krishna was disguised as a boatman, and he charged them to enter his boat to lead them onto the other side. But halfway through, he told them, the boat is sinking, it has many holes, and you very heavy. You are carrying so many pots of butter and ghee and milk and everything. You'll have to throw everything overboard. And the gopis, they listened to the boatman. They were scared. And then it was still sinking. So the transcendental boatman, he was teasing the gopis, and he's told them, your clothes are very heavy. Your jewelry is very heavy. Take them all off and throw them overboard. And then the gopis realized this is something very suspicious going on here. They had a closer look, and that boatman had a flute hidden and a peacock feather also hidden. And they realized this is non-different from Krishna himself. So they had a nice fight with Krishna. They gave him a bit of a beating. And Krishna really enjoyed that pastime, as did the gopis. So there's 7 ways of worshipping Ganga. We can call out her name. Oh, Ganga. Have darshan of her, which is what we did today. We touched her water. We can do arti to Ganga as well. Bathe in Ganga. Stand in the waters of Ganga, carrying clay dug out of the Ganga. So Krishna also describes of flowing rivers, I am the Ganga. 1031 of the Bhagavad Gita. Just as Bhagirath brought the Ganga to Bharat, Prabhupada also brought Bhakti Ganga to the world. We're very lucky. She has many names: Bhagarati, Jahnavi, Nikita, Janu Kanya, Shaptashwari, Sureshwari, Bhagavati, Vaishnavi, Vishnupadi, Mandakani, Mandakani, Gangika, Gange, Alakanandan. And many of her glories are described.
This is Ganga Mata now.
This is now Ganga Mata. Oh, is it Ganga Mata?
Okay, sorry. Go on.
No, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the glories of Ganga Mata are described in the conversation between Shonakrishi and Sutta Goswami. In the Kalki Puran, by bathing in her water, all sins are finished. By pleasing Ganga, one can be released from this world, the bondage of this world. One who serves Mandakani Ganga is always victorious and considered the master of everyone. One who recites or hears these prayers from the Kalki Puran, either in the morning, at noon, in the evening, will receive the association of Ganga Devi. All his sins will be finished and strength and duration of life will increase. And this is a very special place in Mauritius. So we have many devotees from Mauritius. And maybe Karuna, would you like to just say a few words about Ganga Talau?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Ganga Talau is a natural lake, but we consider it very sacred. And we have many temples surrounding the lakes where we do puja. And the main festival over there, we do Mahashivratri during the month of March or February, March. And for some years now, the government has been bringing Ganga water, pure water from Gomukh, and then mixing it with the water in the Talau. So it is becoming more and more pure. There was a very there was one person who dreamt about this lake, and then as Mauritius was covered with forest everywhere, he managed to reach there and he found the lake. So since then, we have been going to Ganga Talau to do the Mahashivratri in February, March. And nowadays we had a very nice temple that has been constructed with all the avatar, Vishnu avatar. Guru Maharaj really liked this temple a lot. Very nice place to go and visit, very peaceful.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Very good. So that's it. Ganga Mai ki jai. Anybody, anything else? Anybody like to share anywhere you've been to Ganga and had an experience of bathing? Whenever one goes to Ganga, must bathe inside. Very important to do that. Anybody like to share anything? Okay. So, it's 4:30. So let's stop the recording. Ganga Mai ki